From a Bird's Eye View, that's the album. Our brother Cordae is back. What's happening?
Good, bro. How you feeling?
Good?
Peace.
This is like a proper sit down. How you feel about the vibes? You know what I'm saying? Because you're leveling up and
For
we're
sure.
following your journey. We've been here since
you.
the beginning. And this album, we was like, yo, we got to get him a backdrop. You know what I'm saying? We needed to put you in a bird's eye view.
Yeah, for sure. You know, it feels expensive, man.
Oh,
I
it
like
does?
it.
Okay.
High level, very high level.
Yo, this is both high level and literally we're on a higher floor, so we're on a higher level.
Absolutely.
Let's get into high level, which is the brand now. Like this is your new venture into a content creation company.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like many subsidiaries within it. It's you know, it's a label, obviously. It's a mantra, a way of life, even more than that.
A lifestyle.
Yeah, it's really a lifestyle and a standard to hold yourself to mentally. And yeah, definitely we create content with a bunch of different creators. We got a bunch of like producers, photographers, videographers, engineers, all different creatives that we've been building with, for sure.
A reoccurring theme in the album is balance.
Yeah.
I hear balance a lot. I hear
yeah, that's
yin
why,
and yang a lot.
Man, that's crazy that you say that because, wow, that's such an astute observation. That wasn't on purpose, but that's a word I use often, like in real life. Like that was my word of last year, just trying to find balance, man, because it's still now, like, because balance is the key, and it's such a slippery slope to try to attain, and it's not impossible, but very, very hard to do, but balance is definitely that.
I think one of the bars in the album, I forget who your yin was.
Oh yeah, some days I feel
Rick James.
Some days I feel like Russell Wilson. Other days I'm Rick James.
Yeah.
Life's a balance. Duality. Yeah.
Duality.
Yeah, because his line is like, men and women are quite different, though our vision is jaded. We originated to coexist. However you play it. Woman was made from the man's rib. That's why we can't live. You be the judge, but ain't an Uncle Phil without an Aunt Viv. Mother Nature and Father Time, moonlight and sunshine, everything's interconnected. And it's all by design. But I say that to say, cause like it's a balance in life. There's no one without the other.
Right.
Even at the end of Westlake High, I started off like, if only Father Time had the patience of Mother Nature.
Right.
If only I was wiser when I first discovered paper. If starting about, you know, the if onlys. You know, if only Father Time had the patience of Mother Nature.
That's right.
Mother Nature is so patient, but Father Time is
It's on your neck. It's on your head.
It's on your neck at all time. And then if only I was wiser when I first got some money. And then if only Martin Luther never stayed at the Lorraine Hotel. You know, going back, throwing little historical gems in there. But going back to that's crazy that you noticed that, because that's not something that that was purposeful, intentional, but that's just
where you're at right now.
What bleeds out. That's where I'm at, which I'm proud of, because like in music, your music and whatever album, and the way I look at an album, that should be like a direct reflection of where you are currently in life, where you were at this time or this point in time in your life. And I think I'll try to make albums that I'll always look back at and be proud of, like, oh, okay, this point in my life, I was going through this, and you were able to summarize. And I think all the greatest artists in their best albums, it's like a life event or some sort of monumental life event or something that's going on in their brain or their life or whatever, and it's transmuted through the music, because that's what's most relatable, that's what's most emotional driven, you know?
You brought up Westlake High, that's a real place. I didn't Google it, that's a real place.
Yeah, for
Westlake
sure, that's when I went to high school.
You talk about, obviously, the violence going on at the school, and violence happening, and you don't spend a lot of time on it, but clearly the student body and friends and people you play, I mean, you mentioned a guy you play basketball with.
Yeah, my boy, a lot of people I went to high school with is dead now. Like, just dead. And it's something I done, rest in peace, Lil Tony, rest in peace, my boy Pitt, Joanne Ross, who I mentioned in Mama's Hood. It's people that I'm growing up with that's getting killed out here. Like, and it's something that I've normalized because it's happened so much with me growing up. Not like people I went to middle school that, rest in peace forever, Lil Brandon, got killed 14 years old, you know what I'm saying? These are things that like I normalized in my head, like, dang, bro, I done lost another one. But it's not normal, you know? So it's, and I think the words like, and some people, it kind of describes high school. Like some people go on to waste the rest of their lives while other people start working tech-based jobs, you know, because that's kind of like where we at in America right now. But yeah, just fermenting on like people I went to, like I said, middle school with, in the call, they getting killed. Like I said, Brandon.
Well, where does that leave you, or how does that leave you feeling when you write an album like this, where you are actually taking a bird's eye view. You are removing yourself, and both literally and figuratively have removed yourself from where you began, made a lot of money, and now you're able to take this macro look at not only your relationship with your father, your relationship with your brother, your relationship with your mother, your relationship with the high school and your friends. How does that leave you feeling today?
Man, it's weird because I'm kind of living in like an ongoing social experiment. Because you take somebody from, not having much and from, humble beginnings, and then within a couple of years, you give them fame, you give them a bunch of spotlight to everybody's watching everything they doing in their life, and you give them money. It's like the movie Trading Places. It's an actual social experiment. Okay, take somebody from here and let's give them a bunch of fame, a bunch of spotlight, and a bunch of money, and it can mess with your psyche a little bit. And I was sort of dealing with a lot of survival's guilt. That's one of the main things, because you want to bring everybody with you, and especially when you got some people you grew up with that's getting killed. It's like, man, I could have saved them. It's like, damn, I could have saved, bruh. So it's a lot to deal with, honestly, and going through all of these things, these mixed emotions, and just being, I'm still new to this whole making music full time. The whole concept is still like super new to me. And just dealing with that. And like you said, like the album is a multi-perspective album. Like I try to look at everything when creating this album from outside of myself. Just take myself out of the equation, how you just formulated it, and just speak on things that I've gone through, things that I've witnessed. Okay, how do I think this happened? And giving it, from a bird's eye view, even speaking from the point of view of others, like want from me is like, what do you want from me? Like, what do you need? It's coming, thank you. I appreciate that.
I wanna, I think we should start with Mama's Hood.
Okay.
Even though I love how the album starts with your brother and him rhyming, and you've articulated that you guys speak a lot for the audience. I don't know if you want to tell him your brother is doing some serious time.
Yeah, for sure. He in there for 24. It's not something I like. It's like if you know what I'm saying? The last
and
combo.
Even saying the words, saying that number out loud
it's crazy.
Is like you don't want to say that out loud because then it feels insurmountable in a way, like you can't.
It's like a reminder.
Yeah.
And so many other artists would have came in the game screaming that out. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, my man's just did a 30 piece. My other man got a 24 because I'm about this life. That was his reality. I was the kid. I was always around it, surrounded by this, but I just stayed in my path. You know what I'm saying? But I say all this to say, with this one, I felt like I wanted to share just a spotlight on his story, because almost some of these records, I'm almost speaking from his point of view, his perspective. Like at the end of John Michelle, like, God willing, these parables go and sell some records, and even more than that, like throw some holy water on a tainted cell, So just my brother asked, like, how the f is he gonna maintain in hell? Excuse my French, my bad. But it's a multi-perspective thing, and like I said, it's not something I came in the game like, yo, my brother did 24 years for a murder.
It's not a badge of honor.
It's not a bad. Anybody else would just put that, my brother in there for a murder.
Right, because it gives them credibility. Like
for sure, but that ain't my reality.
Right.
Like, why you taking credit for something you ain't do, So.
Well, and the reason I said I love how the album starts. You get into Jean Michel because you're using like the value of art. Like you talk about some people valuing your art and not allowing people to value your art. I guess basically using the Jean-Michel Basquiat
for sure.
painting and how, Jean-Michel was a street artist and became valuable. What he was creating became valuable later.
Yeah, for sure.
And he was never even here to
see it.
To see it, and this is, I guess, saying that. So I want to get back to that. And I also want to get back to Super because you barring it up on Super. But Mama's Hood.
Yeah, come on.
There's a couple things on that. You talk about buying your father a power washing van, which I think is just kind of like a dope, supporting your dad's business and whatever his dreams were, et cetera, et cetera. But also, you talk about, you really go for people in the hood taking advantage of the weak.
Yeah.
Like, it feels like there's some anger in when you go back to your mama's hood or something. Like you have some disdain for individuals that are terrorizing the hood, if you will, or maybe making people feel some type of way. Talk to me about that song, and am I interpreting that right?
For sure. Honestly, it wasn't from a place of anger. It's like me going back. It's like that song, I wrote that song the day after my boy Jawan had got killed, my boy Pitt.
The song ends with a dedication.
Yeah,
like
exactly. So I wrote that literally the day after he got killed, and like the second verse is like, I heard the cage bird sing, and it's a beautiful sound, but it'll be so much better, dog, if you was around. Why they had to kill my nigga over a few little pounds? When I got robbed in high school, you even flew through the town, like, couldn't really live with him, now I'm living without him. He was just here with us listening to the new album, because I was just with him not too long before he got killed, you know what I'm saying? He was in LA, stopped through, kicked it with him for like a couple hours or whatever. He went back home and got killed like 3 days later. So I'm like, oh my God, man, I could have saved him, you know what I'm saying? And it was just leaving me with just a lot of resentment towards myself, a lot of anger towards myself, like, man, like, just like we spoke on earlier, just, you know, a lot of survivor's guilt. And that's where initially that song came from, because it's like I was riding through my mama hood, rolling with Jeep. I ain't playing with y'all, man, we playing for keeps. And one of my favorite lines from that song is, how you all about business, but don't be minding your own. And the people with the least to offer always got the most to say. It's just things I've noticed. People who has the least to offer always are the first to speak. And it's not, none of this is coming from anger or anything, but it's all just perspective, just my perspective and things that I've seen. You know, I was writing, just speaking upon my life, you know?
On that record, Want From Me, you talk about copping a Birkin bag on that joint.
Yeah, before, or mainly just like the thing they don't tell you about. It's just like this symbolic thing. A Birkin bag is like a symbolism for like wealth.
That's right.
You know, and it's a symbol, especially in today's with social media. It's like Birkin, 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 Birkin. How many songs that dropped
memes,
the last 2 years in reference to a Birkin? You know, so it's like the chain. You know, it's like the chain for your woman in a way, right?
Right.
It's this idolized thing. So nobody's telling like the other side of it. Like, nah, before I bought that Birkin bag, I had to ask my accountant. He said, you stupid. I had to ask my accountant. He said, hell no, but mustard seed faith move mountains. And that small thing sort of represents like where I am like in my life, like as far as like I said, I'm still living in this social experiment of me not having anything, and now I have access to money, to millions of dollars. And it became fearful almost for me, for like, I'm like, oh, I have this, I'm able to accumulate this amount of money, and I'm just being repugnant with it, like not trying to spend anything, not enjoying myself, not treating myself to anything. That's how I was like my first couple of years. Like I was still living with my manager when I didn't have to. I was a millionaire living with my manager, just out of like fear of like blowing, because you hear so many stories about artists living beyond their means, blowing all their money, all of this thing. So I was like a super extremist with it. And I had to learn earlier, like just saving money and holding on to it doesn't even do anything. It's just sitting in a savings account, not gaining any interest,
Your money's not working for you.
It's not working for you. So I had to become educated, learn about, you know, stocks and bonds, real estate, all of these things, and making your money work for you and truly multiply. But when I first came into—
But also like that expensive watch I see you got on.
Thank you. Take an expensive watch. You know, a little Hublot, you know, that's an expensive watch
But
yourself.
nonetheless, if you want something nice, something like that, is gonna hold its value.
Absolutely.
You know, just like a piece of real estate or even a Birkin bag. For that
Yeah,
matter.
for sure. Because before, like I said, when I first got money, it was just like, ooh, you know that Lil Wayne meme where he's like, ugh, you know, when he's holding the bread, he's like, ugh, like that was me, like the first couple of years, because it was just out of fear. And, but when I first came into the game, I had no fear with anything. Like if I had $300 and it was a flight to LA, it would be like a flight. I had a buddy pass plug. So you know the buddy pass. So I had somebody that can get me to and from wherever for $250, and round trip $255, whatever. And so I say all this to say that I would fly to like South by Southwest, not have no connects, no plugs, no nothing.
And no fear.
But I had no fear, and I would always find a way to make something shake. I'll leave with some sort of contact or connect. I'll leave there very happy I went, building, you know, my relationships, my Rolodex. Like I would go to like LA for Complex Con, had no pass, didn't buy a ticket. I was like, man, I know I'm gonna just find a way to finesse. I had no fear, probably had $400 to my name and spent the $300 on, you know, the hotel and a round trip flight back. But it was just operating with no fear. So then I found myself having money now, but I wouldn't spend it on anything because it's fearful. I'm like, ooh, I got things to lose. So it's a balance between not overindulging and just spending a bunch of money on dumb shit all the time, on things that doesn't appreciate or make sense, versus like treating yourself, enjoying yourself every now and then, but not overindulging and invest. It takes no fear to actually invest. You know, you'll be scared to put some money on the stock market or scared to get real estate. Like, oh, I don't know if this house is gonna retain value or whatever. So I had to stop operating from a place of fear. But then you got cats, they be afraid
to do that, but they'll spend thousands on nothing. Literally throw it in the air at a club. Like literally, but then you're like, yo, but if you put it in here, you won't lose any. You may not make any, but you ain't gonna lose any.
Absolutely.
And people be like, I don't know, I don't trust it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, that's crazy. That's crazy.
I don't trust it. Chronicles.
Yeah.
How do I get into this? I was not prepared as somebody who's seen you rhyming since you were young for the imagery of your sexual habits in Chronicles. And so when I heard it, you know, it caught me off guard. I was like, all right, okay, he's throwing his d around on this song.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
All out, laying it all out there.
All out there. When you make records like this, what's the lady say? What's her family say? What's mom say? Like now, I mean, yeah, man, you grown man, you say whatever you want. But I'm just saying, like, I guess I still see you as young Cordae. You know what I mean?
Man, it's just music. Like, not it's just music, but it's music. It's my job as an artist of all time to just speak on, like, unfiltered. Like, you can't be making music and thinking about, you know, you can think about, obviously.
But you shouldn't do it in the process because it stunts the creativity.
Yeah, absolutely. So I just try to be creative as possible. And you know, like, I didn't come in the game like harmonizing at all. It's a talent I've always had, but I needed to develop it more. And I wanted to.
But your mom she was a singer.
Yeah, my mom used to sing. Yeah. I say this to say, I wanted to like establish myself as just straight MC first, because I didn't want to come in doing both. I was like, nah, I need to establish myself as straight MC because I want to give people more, if that makes sense. By the time we get to the second and third album, you're getting something that you didn't get before, you know? And mainly to get my songwriting ability better, because I always wanted to write songs for like women and write songs for different like R&B artists and things of that nature. And because I love writing from other people's perspectives as well. It's really fun to me. It's like an exercise. And so with this song, it's just, I think all the best music kind of taps into like emotions in a way. That's the music that lasts the longest. Things that need, when certain chords and certain instruments are able to just channel something that make you feel something. It doesn't matter what it makes you feel, but if it makes you feel something, then it's doing its job.
That's the point.
That's the whole point of it.
On this album, not only do you have Lil Wayne and Gunna, but you have her and Lil Durk, which y'all know about, and then you have Freddie Gibbs and Stevie Wonder.
That's a weird combo, isn't it? I'm either gonna go to hell or heaven for that.
Nah, that's to
bringing
heaven.
those together.
That's to heaven. There's nothing. Stevie Wonder is with the 100%.
Oh yeah, no, it's a beautiful balance. Back to that word balance.
There it is.
It's a beautiful balance.
And Freddie Gibbs, you know, he's a phenomenal artist, and he's, you know, obviously contributed so much to hip hop. How did you guys link up? You and Freddie Gibbs, before we get to you and Stevie Wonder being in the same space.
Freddie, like, I only met Freddie like 1 or 2 times, but it's always this mutual respect and love. And I knew when I first made this song, I knew his vocal tone, and he was gonna be able to tell a story in the same sense that I was on this, or tell his own story upon this, you know? So as soon as I made this song, I was like, I know Freddie Gibbs. I made this song 2 years ago. I was like, I know his vocal tone is gonna fit this super dope. And Stevie, I got to kick it with him. You know, he had me do a record for him. Can't Put It in the Hands of Fate, I believe is the name of it. We cooked up for like 5 days on that. He's very hands-on with, like, if you hopping on Stevie's song, he's there every part of the way. He's like, he'll call me like, yo, it'll be 2 days after I did the verse. He's like, yeah, can we say this versus this? Like, you know, I think you can articulate your way better if you kind of redid this part versus how you did it. And I'm like, all day, you know?
Do you appreciate being pushed like that?
For sure, because I don't get pushed like that, but Stevie's like an icon's icon. He's like, that's Michael Jackson, big homie.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's nothing I can say about Stevie that hasn't already been said. He's one of the greatest artists
without a doubt.
of all. You can actually put up a great argument that he's the best artist of all time.
I've definitely heard that, and I don't know too many people that debate it.
He's top 5, top 10.
Songwriter, producer, performer.
For sure.
And then that's even before you get
influence.
Well, and then longevity.
For sure.
And then accolades.
Yeah.
And then you get to, I think, talent, sheer talent.
Yeah. He's high level on all of those accounts.
Facts. Now, how did you guys get in the same space to work together? Even on his, like, did it start with his project?
Yeah. So I got a phone call. My boy was like, yo, Stevie Wonder wants you to like pull up on him in the studio and work on a record. So I was like, done. And we connected, and Steve, he had me save his number as Steveland Morris. You know, that's his actual name.
Steveland.
And I got a FaceTime one time. It was saying like Steveland Morris. I was like,
you
who
forgot
is this?
who it was.
Yeah, I'm like, who's Steveland Morris? Like, it sounds like a great uncle. You know what I'm saying? Like that name is whatever. And a great name, by the way. Haven't met too many other Stevelands.
I've never met another Steveland. Never even heard of another Steveland.
So I'm hanging up on it, and I'm like, Steveland Morris. I'm trying to think Steveland Morris. I'm like, oh. But I just hung up on Stevie Wonder, so I had to call him back. And yeah, man, they don't make him like him no more. The gym, I've probably gotten the craziest gems out of him of like all time. He told me about how like he met Obama before he was president. And you got to think how many stories he has like that. It's Stevie Wonder. He's only operated at the absolute highest echelon of music
He's forgotten
and
more
art.
than we've lived. How about that?
For sure.
He's forgotten more life than we've actually lived.
For sure, definitely. Forgotten moments that like we would like be, what? Yeah. Bro, this is he watched Michael Jackson grow as an artist.
That's right. He helped Michael Jackson.
Mike, this is his big homie. Like, it's crazy.
We spoke about Westlake High earlier. Appreciate that record a lot too, because
thank you.
There's a lot of, this whole album, like it's called, From a Bird's Eye View, there's a lot of perspective.
Yeah.
How hard is that on you emotionally at this stage of your life to pull all of the pain, all of the feelings, all of the memories, all of the moments, and put it into lyrics? How hard is it? I'm sure it's refreshing once it's done, but the work of it to get it here. What are the challenges? What are the tough days?
You know what, being vulnerable and transparent in music, it's a double-edged sword, because I feel like for me personally, that's when I make my best music, when I'm just the most vulnerable, the most transparent, the most honest, but then also not giving them everything. You know, not leaving some key ingredients to yourself, you know, not giving the world enough, but not giving them, like I said, everything. But it's a fine balance as an artist, because you gotta give all you can give, you know, just transmuting these emotions of fear, of sadness, my deepest, darkest, like, truths or most honest thoughts and fears, and putting it on record and transmuting these emotions into music form for people to digest. It's a scary thought, honestly, because once you give it to the world, it's not yours anymore. It's the world's, and they can do whatever they want to. They can hate it, they can love it, but as long as I put my all into it and I know I didn't leave anything on the table, like, I can live with that. I'll lose no sleep over it.
You and Eminem get busy on Parables.
Yeah.
I can definitely hear on the record with Lil Wayne, and maybe it's because I'm paying attention to a lot of what you do, and it's because you're great at it, and because I feel like hip hop is in great hands with someone like yourself.
Thank you.
So I hear everything in your recording process, to the degree of like, oh, he rapping harder on this record because he on this Wayne, or he rap, ooh, I hear this tone of voice on this because he know Marshall about to come up a little bit later. So when you make a record with somebody like Eminem, you cut your part first and send it over, and was just like...
Yeah, Parables is already a song that was, like, when I sent it to him, it's already out.
Done,
And same with, like, Sinister, like, this is already a completed concept. And I just, you know, very early on, like, when I was, like, 16, 17, I used to just try to out-bar. If you was on my song, I'm gonna just try to out-bar you, out-rap you, and just body you. But that doesn't lead to great music. I just want to make good songs and good music that people can come back to, that take something away from it. I don't want to just come in just supercalifragilistic, expialidocious, you know? For sure. It gotta just be, it's just good music. I just try to make good music above all. And when I made Parables, I knew Eminem's vocal tone would sound good on that because the beat is like that eerie vibe on some Slim Shady, Marshall Mathers LP sort of vibe. So I knew his vocal tone would thrive on that. With Sinister, that really wasn't even gonna be an album cut. And but Wayne accented that. He brought that record up, honestly. He accented that. So I just wanna make the best music possible versus like, okay, I got M on this, let me redo my verse. Let me redo this verse because I got Wayne on it. Like, nah, I like how I introed it in. It threw like the between the leg alley-oop for bro to windmill slam dunk it. Funny enough, I was gonna put Eminem on Sinister as well. It's gonna be Wayne and Eminem all on Sinister.
So you was like, I'm ODing, let me spread this out?
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Let me use
I was like, his vocals,
let me use these verses wisely.
For like all the Hollywood glitz and glam, it would've been cool because it's like Wayne and M on the same track.
Right.
I kind of wanted, I know how Drake did it on Forever, and I was just like, yo, that's just a flex move. I'm putting Wayne and M on the same record. Nobody's done this since Drake did it on Forever. I'm kind of just showing my muscle, but it wouldn't have been like the proper record, if that makes sense.
It wouldn't have been the best song.
Yeah, exactly. You know, like M sounds great on Parables, Wayne sounds great on Sinister.
Let's get into it, man. It's always great to sit with you, bro.
Always, bro. Honored to be here. Appreciate you for having me.
Yeah, man. Well,
this is fly too, man. This is very fly.
The team did all right, huh?
Absolutely. Very fly. From a bird's eye view.
You know
High
what I'm
level.
saying? We're gonna have to come back here because then we gotta chapter this out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
So what is the timing? 2 years between every album?
That's what it was this time. I think I'm gonna come back a little sooner with this one.
Okay.
I'm hungrier than ever, and I'm like more inspired than ever. I think I'm gonna come back sooner.
Basically, what I hear is you already basically got the next album mostly done.
Nah, next album is in. I got the infant stages of it good though.
So
I
you got some framework.
I got the framework and the ideas done, which is the hardest part.
So let me ask you this.
Uh-huh.
You said Stevie Wonder pushed you.
Yeah.
Who's gonna be Cordae's Quincy Jones? Who's that producer, that music supervisor that's gonna, or that person you work with that's gonna continue to push you when you think it's dope and they like, nah.
I don't know, I got a bunch of in-house team. My boy Kid, he's in-house. He helps like on the production side a lot, but I try to push myself, you know, cause I have a bunch of trusted advisory board members on my team, if you would, right? That I trust their musical opinions. The high-level squad for sure. But what I've been learning is I gotta just go with my gut. Cause say if it's a song that like I love, but everybody else is like, but I feel really good about it and I put it out and people don't like it, I'm not gonna lose any sleep over that versus like somebody else like, nah, this song is the one. Now I don't really like it and I put it out and everybody hates it, I'm be like, see, I'm never gonna forgive myself for that, you know?
Right.
So I just always like to go with my gut feeling and my intuition. I'm not saying like, nah, ain't nobody can't tell me shit. I got the answers, but just me following my heart more so. Going back to that fearless person I was when I had $400 and I spent it all on that flight to South by Southwest or whatever it may be, just coming back, moving with no fear. And I think that's what true faith is having no fear in the unknown. And that's where I'm at with it right now. I have no fear of anything in the unknown.
Cordae,
come on.
Go get that album, Bird's Eye View.
Let's get it, high level.